Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Tennessee wrapping up a huge recruiting weekend for Memorial Day, like they're calling 865 live. Tons of talent on campus. We've rattled off a bunch of those guys over the last couple of days. Going to continue to cover them as we move forward throughout the week, kind of break down one by one some of the guys that were in town on campus. But the event was headlined by five-star linebacker Sammy Brown. I think he is probably priority number one for me. I think the difference he could make in this defense moving forward under Josh Heupel, under Tim Banks, he's priority number one for me. And can Tennessee get him in the boat? He came out of the weekend saying that Tennessee set the bar pretty high for these official visits that he is about to go into. He came back to Knoxville for the sixth time this weekend at 865 live. He's down to five schools: Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Ohio State. Of course, a lot of people think that Sammy Brown is trending towards Georgia, and I get it. I think that is probably who is out front. But again, he said Tennessee impressed with this visit. They set the bar pretty high, and he said things were even across the board for every school that he is going to take a official visit to. We're going to get into it, talk about it. As always, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We're not talking at you. We're talking with you. We're building a community of Tennessee fans right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Drop the film breakdown this morning on the newest commitment for the class of 24, four-star running back Peyton Lewis. Got together with Coach Jay, watched a little film. If you missed that earlier today, go back, make sure you give it a watch. Always a good time breaking down film with Coach Jay. But let's talk about Sammy Brown. Again, five-star linebacker. Some of the stuff that they do at 865 live or at these big, Memorial Day weekend events, they did the same thing last year. It was headlined by Nico. And, one of the things that Sammy Brown said, they do these scavenger hunts, they visit with the coaches, but you get all these kids on campus. And that's one of the things Sammy Brown talked about. He said it was just fun hanging around the other recruits, the coaches. And that's why, we go back to last year when Nico was in town for all the big recruiting events. He was always there working the recruiting trail, building relationships. And we saw the same thing with Jake Merklinger, the quarterback committed in the class of 24. He was in town. You got all these guys around each other, building relationships. One of the coolest things that I saw from the weekend was Peyton Lewis and his commitment to Tennessee. He did that right in front of all the guys. Josh Heupel brought him up. He made the commitment in front of the group. Josh Heupel welcomed him to Rocky Top. I think that was a good move. I don't know if that's something that Peyton Lewis wanted to do or if it's something that Josh Heupel kind of directed to kind of create a little buzz, a little momentum over the weekend. But one of the things you can see there on the screen, Sammy Brown doing the scavenger hunt. That's something they do. They go to the baseball field. They go to the Torchbearer, different places around campus. You can see there right beside Sammy Brown on the left side of the screen, the number one player in the country, according to On3, Dylan Stewart, also in town. Again, just a who's who of talent in this class of 2024. But I continue to say that Sammy Brown is a priority for me. Now, Sammy Brown, if you are sleeping under a rock, you're not familiar with him, five-star linebacker, 6'2", 225 pounds out of Georgia. That's also the conversation. Does he want to stay in state and play for the Bulldogs? Look, they've got a lot to sell to these kids. Josh Heupel trying to get in that door, trying to work Sammy Brown. Again, coming out of the visit, said they set the bar high. The On3 industry rankings have him as the second highest linebacker in the country. You can see 247 Sports has him as the top linebacker. ESPN, number one. Rivals.com, number one. I love the scouting report over at 247 Sports. On3's got a scouting report too, pretty solid. Talks about him being an athlete. The scouting report at 247 Sports, Andrew Ivins, says that Sammy Brown is one of the top overall athletes to come out of the high school ranks in recent memory. That's not just talking about the class of 24, 23. That's in recent memory, one of the top overall athletes. Racked up over 200 tackles and 3,500 rushing yards in 3 years at the varsity level. Captured back-to-back gold medals on the wrestling mat. You guys know I'm a fan of anybody that can transition from wrestling onto the football field, onto other sports. I think the grit, the determination, the work ethic is second to none when you get one of these elite level wrestlers. Says he posted rare track and field numbers for someone that's north of 225 pounds. He simply moves differently than other individuals his size, whether that be north and south or east or west. Could probably find a home somewhere at the Power 5 level as a running back, given how he powers his way through would-be tacklers, but tape suggests that he has a chance to be special as an off-ball linebacker. All I can do is think about Sammy Brown and Arian Carter side by side in this Tim Banks defense, playing loose, playing fast, playing aggressive. Scouting report goes on to say he does an excellent job of sifting through traffic and getting where he needs to be. Hasn't faced the stiffest competition on Friday nights, but does exactly what he's supposed to in that type of setting. Sheds blocks and simply swallows up ball carriers. Can hold his own in one-on-one situations, but at his best in coverage. Again, that's what we need on this football team. Likes to drop back in a zone and clog up passing lanes. Ability to bend while rounding the corner also makes him dangerous as a blitzer. Should be viewed as one of the top defensive prospects in the 2024 cycle. Likely to set weight room records at the school of his choice and push for early playing time with his work ethic and mindset, NFL upside. So again, that scouting report, one of the best athletes come out in recent memory. Top priority for me, the difference. We talk about wide receiver, and I want the Ryan Wingos and the Mike Matthews and the Amari Jeffersons. I want the guys that are at the elite level. There's no doubt about it. But I think Josh Heupel can go out and take a little less talent at wide receiver and get more out of it. Whereas on the defensive side of the ball, I think guys like Arian Carter, guys like Sammy Brown, some of these edge rushers that Coach G's in on, that's going to make the difference on the defensive side of the ball. Again, Sammy Brown in town 6 times in the last couple of years. Had fun hanging out with recruits and coaches, had dinner with the coaches, really got to know them outside of just being a football coach. The quote I saw in one of the videos was, they're just great people. Again, he said Tennessee set the bar high for official visits. Talked a lot about their culture. That's the biggest selling point for Tennessee, is their culture and that they are doing things the right way. Now, again, is Sammy Brown playing his cards close to the vest? Is he kind of being guarded with his words when you see the interviews coming out of the visit? Because he says that these teams are even across the board. Here is the direct quote. I got this from an article over at 247 Sports. It says, I don't think it's necessarily any overtaking. I'm pretty even right now. I don't really want to say that there's one over the other. I really like all the schools that are in my 5 official visits right now, and I think they all have an even shot. He says, but here's what you got to pay attention to. But Georgia's doing things the right way. When you're winning back-to-back national championships, you're obviously doing something right, and I think that's contributed to the way they practice and their mindset. They're going to let up. They're not going to let up on anybody. He goes on to talk about Tennessee. He says, I think Tennessee has a very similar look, and what they've built in these last couple of years, I think they're just going to continue to get on the incline and get better and better each year. So how do you sell Sammy Brown on Tennessee being a part of the rebirth, Tennessee getting back on track? He's going to take all of his official visits. Of course, Tennessee, again, he was the only official visit at 865 Live. So that one's in the books. Coming up next weekend, he'll be at Clemson. The following weekend, Georgia, and then Oklahoma. And then he wraps things up the weekend of June the 23rd with an official visit at Ohio State. After that, plans to make a decision the first or second week of July. So be on the lookout for that. Did Tennessee do enough? What do you guys think? Did you hear the interviews with him? What do you think of his tone, the way he talked, the way he spoke about Tennessee? Did they move the needle enough to get Sammy Brown in the boat? I would love to hear from you guys. I think it's a long shot. I think Georgia is out front. I think he's saying things and doing things the right way. But did Tennessee do enough to get him in the boat? Because I think he's a difference maker in this class of 24. But you guys hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. As always, make sure you smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. As always, again, thank you to the members of the channel. Could not do this without your support. I would not be doing this full time without you hitting that join button down below. You can give just $1 a month, just $1 a month. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. Also, go check out the merchandise. You guys know where, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys tuning in. Thank you to everybody that showed up yesterday for the watch party for the Lady VAWLS off to the College World Series. That was a fun time. Always a good time getting on, hanging out with those members at the watch party enthusiast level. Of course, X Factor and Coach Jay also in the house as well. But that's going to do it for this one. Make sure you guys stay dialed in. Got tons of content coming your way. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.